How are you? How are you? I think you guys are more amped than I am. Yeah, I mean, I started my DJing career at a very young age. I used to listen to like YFM. My brother used to collect a lot of compilations and vinyls, So that's where I can say the love of the music started, and I literally was that boy that didn't have any ambitions of being a doctor or like an engineer or want to go to space. I literally didn't know what I wanted to do. And I felt weird because at school people would be on some, yeah, I want to be an engineer, and I'd be on some, yeah, I want to be I don't know, nothing interested me, nothing made sense to me. I did not have any in, interest in anything else but something that I didn't know existed, And I think there was some sort of a calling at that time, but obviously because I was still very young, I didn't know what it was. As time went on, like I gravitated towards my brother and his music collection and what was playing on radio. YFM at that time was quite huge. It had just come out. There was this new international sound that was booming. Like the interest of what um, Frankie Knuckles was doing, Louis Vega. They were coming to South Africa for shows, Electric Workshop, and I could see like the hype around my brother and his peers when they would used to go out on weekends, and I was like, what is this thing that people are so happy about to go to, And they're like, yeah, it's like festivals and gigs and clubs, And I was like, maybe one day I want to go see what this thing is. And luckily, in my hood, Tembisa, there were these small things called stockfields. We all know what stockfields are. So there were stockfields, and I remember I was still about 11, 11, 12ish, and I used to go to these stockfields because there were like DJs that were playing there. And I used to be that boy that would sit next to the speaker like this while the DJ is there, just looking over and checking what the DJ was doing. And I was like, damn, this thing is like so cool. Like you sort of like in charge of the party. If you switch off the music, people literally stop and stare at you. When you play a good song, people like vibe with you. And for me, that was like the sort of command I wanted, like that sort of gravitated towards me. I was like, I think this is what I want. It's something that's fun. Obviously there are a lot of girls around and you've got like an entourage, which was quite cool at that time. And I sort of got into it and I was like, okay, maybe I need to try this thing out. I was 11 at the time and it was just about playing the music and that was it. And I kept going to these stock fields. And obviously, because I'm chilling next to the DJ, you sort of like get to see the routine. It's like, okay, he's got a vinyl, he gets he gets a different vinyl, puts it on the turntable, he puts the needle there. So like as I'm watching, I'm sort of learning and seeing what this guy is doing all the time. And at some point, you sort of know what's going on, although you don't hear what he's listening to on the headphones, but you know that it's a turntable, vinyl, needle, headphone, mixer, fader in, fader out, which was sort of like basic, you know. So as time went on, my brother had brought a turntable to the house. He had a friend that was a DJ, and he would literally just play vinyls one by one in the house, from our like house theater system. So when he left, I used to do the same thing. So I knew that when you put the needle at the beginning of the vinyl, that's where there's silence and then the song starts. So that's the first beat. And I got it. Oh, this is why this guy was like catching the first beat and letting it go. So I sort of got to get the gist of what it was that what this DJ was doing. And I started like playing around, fooling around at home. And I think fast forward to my first week in high school. I went to a high school called Sir Pierre van Reineveld in Kempton Park, in Ekurhuleni. So the first week of my high school week, I was taking different routes, like to see which one is shorter, which one is interesting, and I used to use the train to go to school. So I used to walk like, I think, 5Ks to the train station, catch a train and go to school, which today I do as gymming. But yeah. So I used to take different routes. And one day I took a route that went past a place called Swazi Inn in Tembisa. So I was walking down, minding my own business. And then I went past this house, and I could hear, man, like, because I was sort of like a bit clued up in terms of music and compilations. There was no compilation that we didn't have, like your Skidos, your Fresh, all of that, and I could hear from the music that was playing in like the garage that no, what's playing in there is definitely not a CD. It's not a CD. It's not a cassette. It's either this person is playing a mix that was done by someone else, or this person is mixing in that garage. So I stood outside and like I'm listening. I'm like, yes, this guy is like so dope. And then out of nowhere, this guy pops out, and he's like, dude, I've been seeing you, been standing outside and listening. Do you want to come in and check what we're doing? And I was like, yeah, yeah. I walked in and I get there and these guys have like turntables and like crates of vinyls. I was like, this is it. So I get there and already by then my school backpack had like my DJ name on it. It was like DJ Shimza. And then this guy checks my bag and he's like, so you're a DJ? And I'm like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And he's like, okay, show us what you got. And because I had a bit of, self learning and understanding, I got there, took the vinyl, put it there like a professional. Put the vinyl there, first beat, da, da. Obviously, like my mix was not that perfect, but this guy sort of saw like, okay, he's not like a begin. He's a begin. So I can sort of like work with him. So from there, like every day, like after school, okay, now that was my route to like go back home. So every day I used to go there, practice every single day, like literally after school, I was not that kid that went to go play soccer with other kids or play Mamal Papa Lengwana. I was that guy that was playing with vinyls as a after school type of activity. So as I practiced and now I look back and I was like, that the practicing that we were doing was like I was learning from professional DJs, because these guys clearly were doing this for years before I met them, and that's why I could sort of like pick up from the outside. I'm sure if I was walking past that day and I could hear people playing horses, I would be on some that. I'm not gonna stand for this rubbish. But these guys were so good, they were like so dope that I was blessed to have people that were so competitive, were so like so finicky about the smallest things, and it helped me build who I am today because we used to like have random battles like amongst each other, like, nah man, I think I'm better than you in terms of my mixing skills and stuff, and we used to like, okay, cool, let's bring it on, put down turntables, let's go, and someone is judging. Little did I know that at that time it looked like we were pissing on each other, but it was something that was training me to work under pressure. So that practicing of every day created like some sort of urge to sort of be the best at what we were doing, and like we were using like bad equipment, man, like belt drives. I don't know if you guys, okay, you guys wouldn't know because you're like CDJ kids, you know? Like, there's a difference between a Techniques turntable, which is like a professional turntable, and like the old belt drive turntables. I trained on those turntables where you would have to assist the turntable to move because it did not have the mechanism that the Techniques had, you know. So that struggle of making what you have at your disposal to work for you also helped me because we were like, we could have just chilled and be on some, okay, we're gonna wait till one day one of us can afford to buy Techniques turntables and then we'll start practicing. But we got to understand that this is it, you know, like this is it. If we can do what we want to do with what we have, then so be it, you know. So as time went on, man, like I sort of saw this thing as not just a hobby, but something that could be something that I could live off. You know, as much as I didn't want to just be a DJ because at that time when you're a DJ, it was like you just work on weekends and that's it. You know, but because I went to school, I went to primary, I finished primary, I went to high school. My whole high school years, I used to like practice, you know, so like grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, grade 11 till matric. That was like my practicing years. So I like practiced for 5 years on bad equipment, you know. So at some point when I was like in grade 11, 10, 11, um, obviously I'm confident because I practice every day on bub equipment, and now we've been battling in the house together, and we sort of like have that thing to say we don't think there's anyone else anywhere in the world that's doing what we're doing, especially in South Africa, you know. And we started entering DJing competitions, and the reason why we did that is because we understood that for you to be the best, you need to play amongst the best. And obviously, not everyone is going to want to go out to battle and embarrass themselves. Obviously, whoever who's there in that competition believes that they've got like something unique that they can present to whatever competition, you know. So I started going to competitions, man, as at 16, 15, 16, 17. I was in those things, man, and I was just knocking out, you know. Like I remember I used to beg my family for DJing equipment. My mom, okay, Nasad again, she was like, dude, I'm a teacher, you need to go to school. This whole DJing thing of yours must just wait, you know. So I couldn't ask my mom for anything. You know, I couldn't ask my mom for money to buy vinyls. I couldn't ask money for a taxi to go buy my vinyls or anything, you know. So I understood that this person is angry at me because I don't want to be a doctor, you know, and she's working so hard to take me to school, and I'm telling her that I want to play music, like please, you know. And I sort of understood it, and I accepted it. I was like, okay, it's cool. If you don't want to be part of it, I'll try and do what I can to prove to you that I can make something out of this path that I've taken. So I'm gonna let you be that old angry woman teacher, and I'll just do me, you know. So I remember there was a, a conference at the baseline, the South African Music Conference, that's like organized by DJU, Fresh, Greg Maloka, Vinita Vinci, Oskido, and DJ Christos. They call themselves DJU as a consortium. So they had like a conference that was a week long, and it was during school holidays. So I'm like, okay, I wanna go to this conference because I think I learned something else that probably I'm not exposed to, you know. And I asked my mom, I was like, Ish, my lady, there's this conference that I wanna go to, and it's like 250 for a registration fee, and it's like a week long, you know. And she was like, dude, I told you I'm not interested. So leave me alone, you know. So I was like, okay, cool, it's fine. I had two friends, Dominic and Small, and I told them, I was like, guys, I want to go to this conference, but hey, I don't work, so I'm gonna need assistance with this thing. And they were like, okay, cool, it's fine. They combined the money, and they were like, cool, we've got you. Every day we went to this conference, and it unlocked my mind so much because we were learning from experienced people who've been through what we are going to go through. They shared our stories like I am with you guys today, and you sort of pick up with different people's stories that, oh, this actually makes a bit of sense to my story. Maybe I'm in the right path, or maybe I'm on the wrong path. So I didn't take advantage of those moments of that conference, of all the conversations I had with people around me, because they helped me. They formed like a sort of pathway to say, okay, I think if I can go this way, I might be doing the right thing. So after that conference on the Friday, there was a DJ competition for that conference, and the prize was for you to win like new turntables and a mixer and stuff. Like I need to get onto that thing. So I was there, and I was like, I need to enter this competition. I need to make sure that I'm on that stage. And on that Friday, I was carrying my vinyls in plastics because I couldn't afford a DJ bag, a proper DJ bag. So I was there with my plastics. I think I had about 20 vinyls, like so 10. And I was there chilling, waiting for I think I didn't even listen to what was happening that Friday. I was just waiting for like the DJ competition. So I was chilling there, and they were like, okay, it's cool. Who wants to battle it out? And I was there. I'm the tiniest in that whole room. And I'm like, yeah, me. And I'm sure they were just looking at me on some, this guy's just gonna waste our time. And they were just picking people like, you come on stage. So now it's like a whole fight because everyone wants this equipment. So they call the guys that were chosen, come on stage, come on stage. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna be left out. So I go as well, even though they didn't pick me. I just go. And when I get there, this stubborn timer is like, we didn't choose you. Like, where you going? I was like, so I was the last person, and they cut the line. But I stood there, man. I stood there with my vinyls, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it needs to happen now. So one of the guys that was on stage is like, you know what? I'll swap my place for that kid to come on. You know? So I go on stage, and like these guys are playing, and I'm just sitting there on some, I need to do this thing, I need to do this thing. So now I'm sort of like used to the nerves, of me just up in the room with my three other guys. So the pressure was not that much. It was okay. It was like, okay, I'm doing another battle. So I was there, the youngest guy, and I knocked everyone off. I won that competition. I was like, yeah, now we're talking. I've got now proper equipment at home. Took the boxes, got home, and I was like, I'm gonna show that teacher at home that I did this thing. Got home, I was like, yo, my lady, I won this thing. Remember that conference that I was telling you about that you didn't want me to go to? I was there, and like I won this equipment. And she's like, wow, you actually quite serious. And now I've got equipment at home. There's like, obviously, because it was like an industry conference, there were a lot of promoters, a lot of DJs that were doing parties at certain places, which took my numbers. I was now exposed to like Oskido and Greg, and obviously with them, they're like, we need to hold this kid close, but not too close, because he might be a time ticking bomb. He might be. We might let him in, and then like he drops out of school, and his vibe just changes. And over the years, like I had to sort of mend those relationships, prove to them that nah, I'm not here for for the girls that I thought was like the you know. And I'm here for the music. I'm here. I want to just DJ. I want to make a living out of this. I'm inspired by you guys. I want to be like you one day, you know. And I had to work towards gaining the trust of the people that were going to help me in my career, you know. So I had to go to school. When I pass, I need to send my reports to everyone, you know, to say, guys, I passed, you know, like so they don't seem like. And I used to see it like every time school holidays when they come, they sort of like start chatting to me, all of them, you know, and then I'm like, yeah, I passed. And then like one or two will say, yeah, I've got this thing somewhere, come through and play, you know. I'd be there on time, get there, play. After playing, sit on my corner, watch what they're doing, how they handle the crowd. So it was just a constant learning experience for me, you know, and I was happy that I had people on my side that were willing to sort of guide me and help me through my career, you know. So there is still a guy called Brawili, you know. So Brawili was like, actually Brawili is the guy that cut the line, you know. I was like, now you want to work with me, you know. So Brawili, fortunately enough, he was also from Tembisa, so we had like a connection, and he was mainly like the stage manager at all these big festivals where like the Freshes and Gregs and Vinnies were playing. So he was the go-to guy because he at some point he was like the manager of Boom Shaka, you know, so he was clued up, you know, he was the guy to be your guy, you know. So I remember even when Fed Cook and Mawuta used to do those Spring Bash um, events, which were like huge, you know, he used to say, "Be there at 9 in the morning," and I'd be on some like, "Why 9 o'clock? Security? Me like DJs like there's no one playing at that time, you know." And you're on some dude, just get there early and just chill. I'll make a plan for you, you know. So I'd be that guy that would be at a festival at 9 in the morning, you know, when even the sound is not on, but I'm there just chilling, waiting on the side for that one opportunity where one DJ is late and I can jump on, you know. So I was fortunate to have the stage manager who was literally running everything. And he used to like be strategic about it. You know, he used to like, okay, cool. I know I can't throw this boy in the deep end after Oskido, or like I need to like place him nicely. You know, so he would create like small gaps in between, like even if it's a 15 minute, because he knew that I could deliver. You know, so during those 15 minutes, I used to go there and just kill it. You know, and I used to ask him all the time. I was like, "Did I do it right?" You know, he's like, "Yeah, you did it right, but um, you can't play this and this plays person's music because they're performing later. You need to be very careful about those type of things." So, oh, I got it. I was like, "Oh, okay. So it means if I'm playing with Oskido, I can't play songs that are on his compilation because he needs to play them because they're on his compilation. That's what people want to listen to in that festival, you know." So I got those small little um experiences that helped me like groom my brain into this whole DJ that I wanted to be, you know. So at like 18, you know, I was like a full-on DJ, and I didn't have to worry about working on my DJing anymore, you know. Now it was like, okay, I can do it, you know. I play at all these parties and I can see how people um relate to what I do, and it's all good and well. But what's the next what's the next level? Like what's the next level of my career? And I was like, okay, cool. I'm out of matric. What can I do? I'm not gonna study and be a an accountant. Like I'd be so unhappy, you know. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a marketing diploma. And why I thought about that was like, I think the next step, I've got the DJing part, I know the art, but I need to build a brand towards like being a mosquito one day, you know. And what could help me? I was like, I need to do a marketing um, course somewhere, you know. So I went to Varsity College and I did a marketing course for a year, you know, just a year, you know. So I got there. It was cool. Like, it was so exciting when I started. Like, they're talking about market research and like a brand positioning and that. And I was like, cool, this is actually what I need, you know? And I learned so much within that year. And then the next year, I went back. I was like, I wonder what the next step is, you know? And I started speaking about strategic accounting, what. And I was like, you know, like, nah, I don't think I want to be talking about statistics and stuff. I think I'm cool now, you know. And I was like to my mom, my lady, I think I got what I wanted from this course, and I don't want you to waste your money, you know, because I'm gonna fail. We're gonna fight in the house, and she was like, cool, dude. If you think you're a man now, do your thing, but you must just know that from today on, if you're not going to go to school, do not ask me for you know. So I was like, okay, cool, it's okay, it's fine, you know. So now I'm like, I need to start making money out of this thing, you know. I need to start making money, just even if it's just to buy airtime, to just buy food, just so that I don't bug this woman, you know, like, it's fine. So I started doing these small gigs. Like, I remember I used to play for like $50, you know, 150, and it was cool, you know, like 100 rand here, 100 rand there. I used to play. There's a place in Tembisa called Go Spicy. It was a place where we could um, interact with our people, you know, and it was cool because even on that Monday, we've got stories to tell about the previous weekend. So just chill, save up some money from the weekend, and buy meat the whole day on the Monday. So we just chilled, you know. So after some time, I was like, okay, cool. We sort of like building a name in the hood now. There's like this young boy that's like really a good DJ. He collects music, you know. And I understood that for me to be top of mind, top of my game, I need to be that guy that introduces the new music, that's always doing like fun stuff while he's DJing to get people interested, you know. So after some time, I was like, nah, man, there should be a next level to this. You know, there must be something else I can do to grow my brand, you know. And I was like, this boring hood does not have like proper events. I think with the smaller Yana database that I have around Timbisa, I think I can host my own event maybe once a year, you know. So I started doing my own birthday parties. Every year I throw a birthday party at Caprivi. And then I could see the response. It was like now people felt attached to my brand. You know, it's like, this guy's from our hood. We want to see him succeed. You know, we want to support him as much as we can. And it's because they saw me from ground coming up, like literally fighting every week, literally going to parties, literally being known for being that boy that used to stand next to the speakers and just watch the DJs, you know, and bouncers trying to get me out of the party or whatever, and they'd be on some, nah, like, this kid is not here to drink or to misbehave. He's just here to listen to the music and watch the DJ. Just let him be, you know? So they had like a sentimental value to the brand that I was becoming. And they wanted to be part of that, you know. And I was like, I need to take advantage of that thing, you know. No one is doing what I'm doing in Tembisa. Yeah, there are a lot of DJs, but no one really understands what it is to go for what you want. You get me? Like, I remember even with the conference, none of the DJs in my hood went to that conference. You know, and some of them were guys that could afford to go, but they didn't see the need to go to a stupid conference in Newtown for a whole week, But because I went to school and I looked at things in a different manner. I saw the importance of why DJU decided to have this conference for young upcoming people to understand what it is to be in the music industry, So I took that approach and I was like, cool, I'm gonna start these things. And I started with my birthday parties, started hammering them. They used to be like the biggest thing in the hood. A good sound system, proper equipment, and just like basic marketing. And little did I know that I was with those birthday parties that I was hosting, I was setting myself up to the festivals that I host now. I started from scratch. I know what it is to print a flyer on a black and white paper. Have a flyer that's in black and white with just DJ Shimza date, and that's it. And as you go to these conferences, you start seeing how they package their parties, and you're like, oh, this is dope. Who does these posters? You go and look for that person. You're like, I want to do something like this. When you get to that person tells you, you need a logo, dog. You're like, what is a logo? It's your identity that you're going to carry through. Even if people don't know your face, but if they know that you have a logo, it's something else. And I remember when I was working on my logo, I took a picture. If you know how my logo looks, it's like SH, and then the I is like a silhouette of like a person holding a bag, and MZA. And that silhouette is a picture of me that I took in the back of my mom's house. And like even now when like my international management is like, you need to change this logo. I'm like, I'm not going to do that, because this has like a personal thing to it. It's not my face, but when I look at that eye in that picture, I'm like, I'm from an era where I used to carry a small bag of vinyls to gigs, and this was at the back of my mom's house, and it's got a story about how after some time when I was sort of like a bit established and I was making a bit of money, the first thing that I did was um, demolish that house and now build another house for my mother. So it's like humble beginnings from the back room where I used to sit, where I used to live, to where I am now. So that logo, if I change that logo, guys, look for me, sit me down, and just explain to me that guy. We sat with you and you told us how important that logo was. With what was happening in Tembisa, I was like, okay, cool. We're doing these birthday parties. They're quite cool, but Tembisa is known for pubs and Caprivi, and those are like small places. And I go to these festivals that Brawili is taking me to, and I can see how big a party can get. And I think there are enough people in my hood to have a big party. So I was like, I'm actually going to do a party. When am I going to do it? One day I was chilling, it was Christmas Day. You know how everyone just goes home for Christmas? And my mom wanted to go home, which is my grandparents' place, for Christmas. And I was like, I'm going to stay at my home, which is here in Tembisa. So you can go to your parents' place. I'm going to stay here. So I was there just chilling alone, no Christmas lunch, and I was just bored. All my friends were with their families. There was no party because everyone is just with their family. And I was like, actually, this is the day that I'm going to do a festival on, because there's one, nothing is happening on that day. Two, all the businesses are closed, so no one is going to say they're going to Eshisanyama or like they're going to a capel or whatever, because everything is closed. So if I can create something for people to have something to do after Christmas lunch, I think I'll nail it. And that went back to my 1 year in my marketing diploma course, where it's like you need to study who you want to do stuff for. So I saw a gap, and that was the opportunity. I was like, I'm gonna do this thing. So first year, I take a small venue for like 300-400 people. And I'm like, I'm doing a one-man show. It's gonna be one DJ, one artist, the whole night. And like people are like, why would you want to have a party where you're the only DJ? You're gonna get tired, you know? And I was like, this is going to be a platform for me to interact with the people that follow me the whole year. So this is going to be the only party where they're going to get a full experience of who Shimza is. So I will not get there and play for an hour like I do every weekend. I will be there for like 6 hours, 8 hours, and I'll DJ. And during the break that I'll take, I'll have one artist to come and perform, and that's it. After that artist, I will I will go back and DJ. And the reason why I took an artist is because I saw an opportunity in using that artist's fan base. So even if people didn't want to come for me, they would come for that artist, but they would be exposed to me from the time they get there till the artist gets there. And after that artist gets there, the only thing they're going to see on that stage is me. And I understood that that was the branding opportunity of what I was creating. So that's where my one-man show started. I was like, I'm doing this thing and I'm going to use it as a vehicle to expose my brand to people that like bigger brands. So I did the first one. It sold out. Like at 9, doors closed. I was like, what's going on here? And after that, the feedback was so dope, because I understood that the sound system has to be right, the venue has to be right, the music has to be right, the artist needs to be right. So I gave them an experience that they were not used to. And that's because I thought out of the box. I didn't think of, let me just do another set, gospel sing on Christmas Day. I thought beyond um, how a normal Joe would think. So the next year, now people are asking, when are you doing the next one? I was like, nah, chill. We'll do it again next year in December. They're like, no, man, you need to do one during the year, whatnot. Now I can see that there's a demand. So I need to cut the supply so that they crave for it and come back in December again. So the next year, people are talking about this thing the whole year. And then I was like, okay, cool. Who's popping this year? That year, Zakes Bantwini was like the biggest thing ever. Like he was out with Juju, Clap Your Hands, all those hits. And I was like to Brawili, you know this guy. We need to have him at the show in December. Cool. Zakes agrees. He's like, okay, cool, I'll do it. I never do gigs on Christmas Day, but I think we want to help this kid grow. And I booked Zakes and I just started marketing that Zakes Bantwini is coming to Tembisa. Like people went bananas. So I realized that I couldn't go back to the same venue because it wouldn't make sense. We would sell out at 7:30 and then would have people standing outside, and that's money that I lost. I was like, I'm gonna go to a bigger venue and take the risk. So I went to a bigger venue. The demand was so big that I could automatically see that this is going to be a big party in December. And I was like, okay, cool. Set everything up for the day, hire the sound, hire the security. Everything is set to go for the 24th for setup, and then the 25th is going to be the actual show. So I was like, okay, cool. Now that I have this event side sort of like on lock and people are sort of like warming up to it, what is it that I can do like to make this like something quite special and for people to like be part of it even more, to have like more of a sentimental value to the property than it just being a party. I was like, okay, cool. I know that on Christmas Day I was home one day and I didn't have, my mom was not around. She went to her mom's place. My friends were with their families. But what about the kids that don't have families? What happens to them during the day on Christmas? So I was like, okay, cool. The festival, people come late anyway. So I'm going to create a part of the show during the day that is going to cater to like orphans from around Tembisa. I'll create like a mini show for them during the day. They can come through, have fun, cook like a Christmas lunch for them, and then later on we bust them out, and then it's the festival. And that's how the charity part of the show came, you know. And what that did for me, without me even realizing, is that it created like a social responsibility part to the show. You know, I didn't understand it at that time. I was just doing it because it felt right. It felt like I needed to play a role in my community since I'm being supported so much by people around. I need to give back to the community that's building me, you know, and that was the one thing that I could do for my community. So that thing that I did brought me closer to now corporates wanting to be part of the show, because it's not now just a bash in the hood. People get drunk and that's it. We are using that bash element to give back to the community, you know. So after all the fireworks, after everyone's drunk and they've had fun, tomorrow we're like, hey guys, you guys had fun. You bought alcohol, you bought tickets to the show. Um, Part of that money, you didn't have to take it out of your pockets to say, I want to buy school shoes for this kid. We used your money while you were having fun to buy school shoes with that money, you know. So it was not, yeah, it was not please give us money so we can buy these kids shoes. It was like, we'll give you your value for your money. You're not paying for the school shoes, you are paying for your entertainment, but we're going to take the money that you are using to do something else with it, you know. And it made sense because you are not running a pity party, you are giving people value, but you are using that money for something else, you know. And that helped me with getting closer to like the government, you know, where the government is now in a position to say, yeah, this is a bash, people get drunk, but it's something that we can align ourselves to because it's got a social development sort of angle to it, you know. And now I could sort of get funding from government to say, oh, okay, cool, that venue is not good for your event. Come, like we'll give you a stadium so that you can do this thing of yours. We won't charge you for it. We won't give you money, but we can give you access to our services because you are helping us achieve like a certain mandate within the government, you know. So that's how it opened up that avenue. And now while I was inside there, I was like, oh, so there are funds that the government give to arts and culture um, events that have an impact in the community. So now I can now apply for those funds to make sure that my event grows bigger. I have a bigger budget to throw a bigger party to attract more people so that I can impact more lives after the show, you know. So that's where the the partnership with the government now started making sense and gelling into to each other, you know. So I never looked at my events as just a party for people to get drunk. I looked at it as an event that's going to build my brand as a DJ, because, like I said, I'm going to book a Zakes Bantwini that people want to see. But before Zakes gets there, I'm the first and the last thing that they're going to see on that stage. So, and I remember one day, you remember how Zahara was so big? I did a show and I booked Zahara that year that she was like the biggest thing. And I had families coming to the show to see Zahara. Do you know what I did? I took Zahara, I put her on at 2 a.m. So the whole night, we ended up having families now having fun at the festival because they're with their families, they're having fun waiting for Zahara. But we unlocked that mentality of old people thinking people just go to events. When they get there, it's like everyone's just misbehaving. We're just having fun. Everyone's just drunk. We're having sex. We just taking drugs, and they got there and they got to see. Oh, okay. So there's a stage, and like it's a proper stage. This is like stuff that we see on TV. And how that helped me is that the next year when the kids asked to go to the show, it was like, ah, no, it's cool. It was safe last year. We were there, to see Zahara. And that's how the show grew. Like everyone now is like, okay, we like that show. It's a good show. It's not like, and I don't take advantage with everything that I do. You don't take advantage of the people that support your shows or your DJing career. Practice. It's the same thing as what I was doing when I was still like focusing on the DJing. I used to practice a lot because I don't want to take advantage, like, oh, nah, people know about me, so I can play a set. Always make sure that you deliver in everything that you do. So fast forward to to the shows becoming a success. I lost a lot of money with those shows because I would play the whole year, DJ, save up money because I didn't have any sponsors. I didn't have any sponsors because I didn't have a solid enough brand that they would want to be part of. And I understood it. I didn't take it personally. I was like, even I wouldn't want to tag my name onto something that is not tried and tested. I wanna see you okay. Ntanga was pan. So therefore I can help him by putting my brand onto this thing to amplify it. And I just went bit by bit, asking and people giving me funny stories, but I didn't stop. I just kept going. I kept losing money, um, but I was learning in the process. I was learning that security is very important. You need to make sure that you've got your people in certain places. So the losing of the money was not a problem for me because I knew that I'd have to work harder the next year to make the money back. As time went, this now started turning into a business because now we can't be wasting money and losing money. I had to sit down with people like that would help me understand the business of what I was doing. So like set up a company. You must have a company that's going to run all your properties. So if it's merchandise, if it's your gigs, if it's your DJing money, it needs to come into a business account and you need to be an employee of that company. So you have a separate company from the 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 company account. People pay into the company and the company pays you as an employee. Your bank account is not your personal account. Even though you're the director, you are the guy. Like even yesterday I posted a picture on Twitter and I was like I'm the boss, I'm the business, and I'm the talent of my company. So I had to set up structures in my company to sort of make sure that things go accordingly, that there are invoices that are done properly, my taxes are in order, so that tomorrow when an old mutual say we want to be part of your show, hi old mutual, I hope you're listening, you know, kare check nyana there, when an old mutual comes to say we want to be part of the show because we think we can open up, my show has about 15,000 people like now. It's probably one of the biggest shows in Ekurhuleni, well, in Gauteng. If a brand say we want those young people that you have at that party, I've got like the systems in place already. When they say we want your tax clearance, we want all of those things. We want a track record of what you've been doing. I've got an office to say we need to write a report for every event that we do. For like we need to know who came to our parties, what were they drinking, what were they eating, where are they from, and that's the information that brands want these days. That's what we're selling now. That's when you have an event, don't tell a brand that you've got 10,000 people at your event, and when they ask you where they're from, you're like, I don't know, from around. They're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Because we need to know where we're going to be selling. We need to know who we are going to sell to, and if this makes sense to us. If this person is saying he's got 18 to 32-year-olds, Are those the people that we want? And now we are in a space that's quite cool because everyone wants kids that are just fresh from high school, because they're the ones. If I open up a bank account in grade 12 or grade 11, I'm most likely going to keep that account for the rest of my life because it's got a sentimental value. It's like it's my first bank account that I've always opened. I'm a slam, about bank charges and shit because of Twitter. So it's easy for you to maneuver. But when you open up a bank account at, at in matric, you're most likely just going to go. So they want those kids, like even beer brands. They know that once they catch you after matric, you're most likely going to always drink that brand unless your income starts to change. So at the time that we in now, and I can see like there's we young people in this room. Look at what you're selling and how you can sell the data to brands because brands now want data and not numbers. Okay, well, they want numbers, but they want the data more because that's what's more valuable to them. So now I'm at a point where because I've built so much, I can walk into a boardroom, with with a brand like an Old Mutual and say, I've got a show, I've got 15,000 young people that your brand can be exposed to. Here's the track record. I've got 10 years of experience building this property. This is where it comes from, and this is where it is right now. And I think you could use the data for X, Y, and Z. And then they say, okay, cool. This actually fits into our mandate and where we want to go. So let's partner. And that's how you turn your brand that you created yourself into a business, understanding your customers so that you're not selling the property, you are selling the customer. You get me? Yeah. You're not selling the festival. You are selling the people that are coming to the festival. So that's one thing that I've also understood. I've gotten to understand that, yeah, your festival can be the best thing ever. And I compare, I go all out for my festival. Like I'll have like the biggest stage and I worry a lot about the production, fireworks, all of that stuff. And you get to a Joburg day, there's 30,000 people. The stage is it's just a drop down banner, a DJ booth, and a sound system. Not even screens like on stage to make the stage look nice. But they've got the business model. They're like, we are not selling the festival. People are going to come anyway. So we are selling the people to our brands. They make tons of money, and that's that's the that's the experience that we as black young people don't really have because like both big concerts have been doing festivals for years, and they've got that experience that they need to share with us. I think even with this, they should have a a a workshop for young upcoming promoters, and I don't understand why they don't do that because I think maybe they don't want people to be in their space and know their secrets. But I feel like bit by bit, we sort of like getting to that level, understanding what it is that we need to sell to brands to make our shows much more bigger, because I I'm sure if I can get 2 million for my show or like 3 million from a brand, they will see the value because I've I've got the data that they want and I can call the shots. When they come to me and they say, we want your data, your show has 15,000 kids every year. We want to be part of the show for the next 5 years. I can say, okay, cool. How much do you have? And they say, we've got 200. And I'm like, nah, you're not getting this. And I've got something to bargain on because I've built something from scratch that they want from me. So just build, guys. Build.